What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dragzine Podcast. I'm your host, Senior Editor Brian Wagner. This week, I've got the dynamic duo, the McCain brothers, DJ and Ryan. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
Oh, not much. I personally am still trying to recover from No Mercy / the Magic 8. I don't know about you guys. I know you guys were beyond busy there, but I was too. So I can only imagine you're trying to still gather your wits, right?
Yes, sir. Still getting all my ducks in a row. Here we are on what is Friday. So a week later and some change.
Yeah.
I'm just not getting back home in Charlotte.
Yeah. Get back home, and then you got to try to get back in the groove. People don't understand the race hangover is real, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Very real.
Yeah, especially when you're a very intense race, and especially with what you guys went through, trying to put a car into low orbit, trying to, deal with 1.3 cars, going multiple rounds. And literally you guys had like an entire encampment there in a small army. And that's what it takes to really pull that off, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Duck week is it's a long and tough one, but you gotta be coming into it ready to battle.
How many nitrous bottles did you guys have filled up, or did you just bring like 2 mother bottles or 3?
Yeah, we had a few mother bottles, and every time I turned around, it seemed like somebody was feeling one.
Yeah, I had Jason bring 2. I brought 1 in the back of the truck, and my pop had 2 in Bowser's trailer.
Good Lord. Does the nitrous guy, does he named a boat after you guys at this point because of all the nitrous you buy?
I'm sure they like us over there.
Yeah, it's, back in the day when I used to run nitrous, the dude from Jegs would hate seeing me and my friends come in because we'd have 5 bottles. I couldn't imagine, with running 3-4 nitrous cars, those guys got to be hating that.
Yes, sir.
But that's part of the price you pay when you're running the Giggle Juice, right?
Yeah, someone told me this weekend. I guess you kind of pay to play with nitrous because you're paying to use it. I guess per se, but.
What made you guys want to be nitrous racers? Because that's a life choice. I have a feeling. I feel myself at this point. It's something you got to want to do when you get the other power out there. I'll go to make it easier. I'll ask you first, DJ. What pushed you to want to be a nitrous racer?
Well, it's kind of growing up. My dad always raced, and he used nitrous when I was a kid. But he was more of he liked to run naturally aspirated a lot. So I would like to see him cut the nitrous on and use the gas. So when I was a child, and we did use it, but he leaned more towards naturally aspiration type deal, and that's just kind of what I was around. Never was really a boosted guy. I've driven boosted cars. I like them. Don't get me wrong. There's power there, but I just kind of started out really naturally aspirated, mentioning nitrous a little bit. Now we do dabble in a little bit of boost here and there. We have a boosted car in our camp actually, but we just kind of. Now it's almost like being I don't know what the term would be, like a minority, so to speak. Especially in LDR, there's only a few of us nitrous cars left, so I guess it's kind of trying to show you can keep up with nitrous right now.
Ryan, what do you dig about nitrous?
Like DJ said, it's kind of like one of those things that it ain't but a few nitrous cars left. I feel like in every class. Radio versus the world is 2 or 3. X275. Yeah, Ron Rose, us, Nemesis, the TRE car, maybe 2 more. So it got quite a few. And then LDR, yeah, the Black Plague, Devil Horse, and then what's his name?
Brian McGee was there.
Brian McGee and Chad Henderson.
Couple more, yeah, a few more handful here and there. Yeah.
Why are there so many grudge racers that use nitrous?
I think that's changing. If you pay attention now, I'm seeing especially maybe not in the Southeast, but you're starting to see more boosted cars doing the no time grudge stuff, and they're racing each other. For the most part, I guess it's hard to get a race. I guess there's so many people already running nitrous. They didn't really want to run the turbo cars with no rules, or nobody can really. Now I guess you can make more power with a turbo. That's why you see in the class they're running the heavier weight than most nitrous combos are, just because of the horsepower they can make. So I think it's just more of the nitrous guys not wanting to. It'd be hard to get a race with a turbo car. I actually was speaking to somebody this weekend about that. He had a turbo car, and he was trying to grudge race. He ended up going back nitrous because he couldn't get any. He felt he was going to struggle to get any action. So,
Ryan, what do you think? Why is the same reason? Do you think the reason why we see more nitrous cars in No Time and Grudge?
Yeah, I feel like the nitrous cars are just a whole lot easier. If you think about it, you got like high school cars, so to speak. They can just go to the store, go to like a nitrous store or online and order a nitrous kit, strap it on, and boom. And as far as like for the boost applications, there's so much you got to go through to put a turbocharger or a supercharger on it. I feel like everybody just did the most simplest way the race.
Oh yeah, that's why I put nitrous on my street car at first, because it was one, it was the most affordable, and two, it required the least amount of surgery. We're putting a turbo on my car right now, and pretty much at this point, I was like, if it doesn't make it go faster, let's just cut it off. We're cutting holes and stuff anyway, so just you give up on the pleasantries of that, because otherwise, if you really want to do it right with especially the turbo car, is you're gonna pay a lot for someone to fabricate someone to keep everything intact, right?
yes, sir.
I think that kind of ties into one of the questions I have for you guys is, drag racing isn't an easy sport at all. People think that, you're just going fast in a straight line. There's a whole lot more that goes into it. Ryan, what really drives you to want to be in drag racing?
I think because I grew up in it, and now that I'm getting older and older and older, I look up to guys like Phil Schuler, Billy Stockland, Stevie, all those guys, and they pretty much making a living out of it. So I figured if I'm gonna make a living out of it, then I just gotta keep going. I gotta keep climbing the ladder. So that's what keeps me driven in it.
What about you, DJ? What makes the long days of beating and banging on cars and scouring the pits for parts and being up till 4 a.m. What makes you want to keep doing it?
There's nothing like it, man. I've had plenty of friends that try to leave, and you always end up coming back. I feel like once you get that drag racing blood in you, the community was a prime example this weekend of just what took place without accident, the way people rallied together, opponents or not, help to get the car fixed. Just when you win, to ready to bring a win to your team and celebrate and just making cars go fast, the adrenaline. I just don't feel like there's anything. I guess a lot more hobbies you can have in the world, but drag racing, I just feel like there's nothing else like strapping the car going fast or just working on the car and watching it go fast, being a part of a team, just there's nothing like being the dragster for me. That's all I really know. I mean, I do a lot of other things. Like I have other hobbies, but as far as like drag racing, there's nothing that gives you that. I feel like that sensation, that feeling. I don't know really how to describe it.
Let's kind of tie together. People might be wondering, what are we talking about with what happened putting a car back together this weekend? Your Black Plague car kind of took flight, and we'll talk about that a little bit. I'll tell it from my perspective first. I was down at the scales at South Georgia, getting ready to interview Roger Conley about weighing cars, and all of a sudden I hear this noise that the only way to describe it is like a very anxious bracket racer whapping the throttle at the stripe. And usually when you hear that in a heads up race, that's because something very bad is happening. And then I heard the carnage and I saw the car sliding to a stop, and I saw the side of it. I'm like, well, something pretty gnarly happened there. Ryan, what was it like from your perspective watching all this happen?
Oh, I was lost for words. I was sitting back there. The car left good. It got to the 60 foot, and I started seeing the nose do that number. And at that point, on a nitrous application, there's no stopping it. I don't care what kind of wheel control you got. It was kind of like the Marcus Burke deal. And I kind of like, I put my hands on my head and I was like, well, this ain't gonna be good. And it kind of seemed like DJ froze up there. It was the car kind of got stuck and the air was just beating against the bottom of the car. And he was trying to get it down, but he couldn't. And as it made its way down, I said, oh God, this is about to get like I said it's either the throttle about to get stuck or the other car is gonna hit him. And the other car wasn't far behind him, so I thought the other car was gonna smash to the side of him. But the other car actually the other driver did a real good job of not hitting him. But yeah, it was a nerve-wracking situation. But I didn't think he was gonna land it that well. It was like a planned land, if that makes sense.
Time slows down when someone you're working with or for starts crashing a car. It really, like, it seems like it takes 25 minutes, but in reality it's a couple seconds. And I'm sure inside the car, DJ, things were getting a little sporty as you go from looking at the bottom of the clops to the top of the clops, right?
Yeah. Sometimes we have an in-car cam. I had a couple of friends call me about the in-car cam video. We didn't have one mounted this weekend, but yeah, it was almost like a Stevie Fast replay. I went up and I had earlier that week, I think the first round of qualifying, it came up in the air and I set it down smooth. And then Q2 is when we went to number one qualifier. And it kind of floated the tires a little bit, but they stayed down. So that run, it kind of had the wheels up, and it was one of them like, okay, it may settle out. And then it just shot up. And I wonked it. Like I said, it may have been too soon, trying to just catch it on the way down and not bust the oil pan or anything of that nature. I wonked it, it went up. I wonked it again, it went up. I'm pretty sure I wonked it again. And then there was a sensation of, okay, I'm off the gas. I feel like I'm flying for a second. It's like birds are chirping in slow motion here. What's about to happen? You don't want to end up in a situation where you're going over the wall or, hitting the pole or, getting to, luckily with that part of the track, I don't think there were many people in the area, people there, but it just, when you get that flying sensation, you got to control at this point. So I was thinking, I don't know what else to do but try the parachute. So I reached up, I pulled up both chutes and I held on, and it came down inside my lane, kind of sideways. All right, the chutes pulled me back and straightened me up. May have also slammed me into the wall, but it could have prevented something else bad from happening. And Luke Smith was over there. Great job, excellent job by him. The first thing I said, he came and checked on me. I told him I appreciate him not running to the back of me. I'm sorry if I cut him off. I think I ended up cutting him off twice. So I went in his lane, hit the wall, tried to get out of his way. When he tried to go around me, I can't see in a race car backwards. So I ended up cutting him off again as he tried to go to the left and go around me. And he had the chutes out on the brakes and did an excellent job not running to the back of me, but it was close. So I was just happy no one got seriously injured and he didn't damage his car because of the accident that took place in my lane. So that was good.
Yeah, it's when there's two cars involved, things get a little gnarly in a hurry. And again, it was a great driving job by everybody because, again, the biggest thing I think when you go to a wheel stand like that is you got to keep it inside the park. Like, the second you go outside the walls, that's when just the exponential of bad really goes up. And that probably saved the car, made life a lot easier for you guys to work on it for sure.
Yes, sir.
So now that we kind of got that out of the way, I wanted to talk about, you guys come from the Grudge and No Time world. You're well known for that. What was the favorite part of, that area of racing that you really liked, and what could the rest of drag racing learn from it? What do you think, Ryan?
Like the favorite part of No Time Racing?
Yeah, let's talk about both. Yeah, what was your favorite part about No Time Racing?
I would probably say, I don't know, the thrill of winning the shootouts and how quick you can make the money. You got, so for a lot of people that might not understand the No Time shootouts, you get to the track, it might be a Friday or a Saturday shootout. Willie Dog or somebody like that is going to have a driver's meeting, maybe 12 o'clock, something like that. You go draw the hat with all your racers, draw out the hat. You get your guy, and they might give you one shakedown. And if they don't, you're going straight into round one. And then, so you might put up $200 and you might start at 3 or 4 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, you either won 2,000, 2,500, 5,000, 20,000, 25,000, or 50. And, going only a few rounds. The thing with the thing I learned about class racing is you gotta put a lot of laps on your stuff for a smaller return, but it's a lot more of a spotlight that comes with it.
Yeah, it's an interesting and different world for sure. My first like big official no time race I went to this year was was part of Woodstock, and it's a different environment. It really really is, and there's a different level of excitement for sure. And yeah, a lot of money, a lot of money I see exchanging hands on the starting line, and that definitely kind of interesting to see, kind of nerve wracking if I be one of the people putting up money like that. But DJ, what are your thoughts on your favorite parts of No Time and Grudge racing?
So yeah, because there's two types of that. You get the grudge racing, in an actual grudge race, you're talking about a one-on-one race. You have a race like we had with JR Gray when I was in Nemesis. We had a shootout at Ducks race, and I think JR spun. I think that's what happened. And then he was, we were talking back and forth, and he wanted to race a week later and go down to Bradenton Motorsports Park for a grudge race and get some get back. So it was a big trash talk. We went back and forth, and we ended up going down to Bradenton. Met up down there, and in that situation, you get a situation like that. You get the excitement of it's the one shot, one kill, so to speak. You only get one chance to do it right, and you're going to win some money or lose some money. So in that instance, JR went out there. He made a really good pass, and we went out and kicked the tires. Then we only had a certain amount of time about to be in the stage lanes and race. So we decided to go out there and gamble, and we ended up running that race and getting away. So that's when you get like almost like a rival, so to speak. Kind of like Stevie and I think it was they just had a race in Texas a little week ago. Where you get
Bubba Stanton or something like that.
Yeah, Bubba Stanton. You get that one shot at somebody, and somebody's going to be happy and somebody's going to be a little lighter in the pocket. But the build up of that, especially on the winning side. And then as far as the no time goes, the shootouts, it's just, to me, that's venturing a little more towards class racing just with the clocks off. But there's still a little bit of something there. There isn't as many rules. And it gives the added, I guess, tuning aspect. Because if you're the class racing, you have, who you're running, sort of. You never can take anybody lightly, but you can kind of see where they qualify or get an average of how their car's been running. But in no time, you get beside somebody and you can never take anybody lightly. It could be anybody's day at any time. So you have to be on your P's and Q's and run the best you can.
The thing that cracks me up about part of the shootout stuff is sometimes people get pretty twisted up about class cars coming in. Oh, there's a class car here. I'm like, you got to remember, yeah, they might have lit the boards, but that was at class car rules and weights and whatnot. You walk in one of those shootouts, God knows what some of these guys have done, because there's a lot of we'll call it gray area manipulation that happens with class cars and weights and where they do things. And if they can run those things lighter, I mean, I know of a few cars that are class cars that have run at shootouts with basically outlaw no rules, and they're considerably faster. That's pretty insane considering
you get that. You can get that aspect as well. I hear that argument. I see both sides of that. Nobody wants somebody to find out how fast they've been or whatever. But make sure
that's
my
me.
Wi-Fi's on. Okay. And you also have the aspect of someone that ran a number, say at Duck Show, and the track was really good, the air was really good, and they lit the boards. But they also may be coming to a no time race where the prep is marginal and the track is the equalizer. So they just because somebody ran that number at one event doesn't mean they're going to run it at this no time event. Not to say all no time events are on marginal tracks. Sometimes they're on really great tracks too. But it's circumstantial. I feel like so I get both sides of that argument. But I ran against class cars, even in there's no time shootout. It's one of the things that really bother me. If I feel like I can beat somebody on that day, I'm going to try them, whether they lit the boards or not. Some people say I may not be being true to the game, and everybody has their opinion about that. But I'm all about drag racing, no matter what type it is. I like the race.
That's what I like to hear is, I've seen on some of the Facebook groups, and I love some of the terms they're used in grudge racing and whatnot, and some of the banter back and forth. But it definitely cracks me up, as you can tell the people that they know they're fast, because they'll be like, all right, just drag that pile out. I don't care. I'm going to beat you from the pillar to the post, and that's how it's going to be. Those are the guys that I think, and it doesn't matter of any kind of no time grudge racing, those are the ones you don't want to mess with because they don't have to talk trash. They're going to come out and just smack you around, and it is what it is, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So, kind of the second half of my question, I'll start with you, DJ, on this. Now that you've kind of seen both sides of it at a successful level, what do you think the rest of drag racing should learn or pick up from the grudge and no time world?
There are some. I feel like there used to be kind of a stigma of guys was slow in the no time world. That isn't the case for everybody. Everybody just has a preference for the kind of racing they want to do, and I feel like some people that come from the grudge world they aren't rattled as easily. They know how to apply pressure in any type of situation, whether it's tuning or driving, and just goes. I just feel like it goes to show that anybody can compete at any time. You look at Stevie Pass where he came from. You can look at the JR Grays of the world. Just because they grudge race at one point doesn't mean they can't go to an NHRA race or a radio race and compete and do what they were doing, whether it was grudge or the class race. So I just feel like let's say a learning thing. I guess it's a learning experience, but just to know that there are some fast people out there too, and also to let the grudge guys know that you can also go and compete at a class race if you feel like that's what you want to do. You don't have to be stuck in a box, and just because somebody labels you a grudge racer does not mean that's what you have to do for the rest of your racing career. You feel like you can't go to a class race or something like that,
Ryan, what do you think that drag racing could pull from grudge racing as a whole? Is that the sport could learn? Is it the showmanship of it? What could the rest of drag racing do that grudge racing does well that it doesn't do? If that makes sense.
I think that would be probably, like DJ said, the whole rattling aspect of it. You can see like me or DJ ain't easily rattled at all. Like I see a whole lot of people take what I say on Facebook the wrong way. It comes from the no time and the grudge stuff. Like people got to be able to smack talk, trash talk. I think that's why a lot of people like Stevie in the NHRA is because he can trash talk and go out there and either win or lose. But at the same time, it adds some excitement to, winning or losing a round.
Oh, look at this year in the NHRA. You've got two guys in the form of Lyle Barnett and JR Gray that are first-time winners in Pro Mod that come from the outlaw racing world. And and at the start of the year, a lot of us talked about the fact that having them in there plus Stevie is going to change Pro Mod, and I think it has. It really.
Look at you have Lyle and Beer Money. A couple weeks before, he's winning the no prep race, in a Beer Money car. And now he's NHRA driving NHRA Pro Mod and cutting the W on. So that's something to be said about that,
Oh yeah.
All about being versatile.
Yeah, and it's funny, I was there when those guys built that car during the 10K drag shootout, and it blows my mind to see that car out there still doing so well. I mean, that's badass. Again, that shows you what it, that if you know what you're doing behind a computer and a wrench, that you can really go out and do some damage with a vehicle no matter how much money you spent on it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, what makes the kind of the grudge world so exciting is that those are that aren't really into it will see some of the cars and they'll be like, oh, that thing just looks like a pile. I'm like, oh, trust me, all that money that most people would spend on making sure body panels align right and it's all one color, all that's sitting under the hood that you're not going to see, and they're not going to tell you what it is. Like it's a completely different universe.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to take a real quick break here on the Dragzine Podcast. When we come back, we're going to do a little bit more grudge talking and whatnot with DJ and Ryan McCain. So we'll be right back.
Ditch that restrictive stock air filter and let your engine breathe with Holley's new line of Intech cold air induction systems. Intech systems are available for a huge assortment of late model cars, trucks, and SUVs and deliver sizable improvements in horsepower and torque. Each system is precision molded for maximum airflow, efficiency, ease of installation, and has a washable and reusable 4-layer dry air filter that ensures a long service life under your hood. To find the right Intech system for your ride, head over to Holley.com today.
All right, we're back here on the Dragzine Podcast with DJ and Ryan McCain. And, you know, I haven't got to have a lot of grudge racers on here, the guys that have a big background. So I'm going to continue to ask a lot of questions and fun stories. I'm hoping to get some more on at some point. I really want to get Willie Dog on because I think that'll just be me sitting here and just letting him run wild because he's good at that. You know, DJ, who are some of the best grudge and no time racers out there, and what makes them so good? Give me your top 3.
Top 3 grudge and no time racers out there.
And I'll put a stipulation on it. You can't list Stevie.
Can't list Stevie. I mean, that's automatic. Well, I mean, I'm gonna start with Willie Dog because I grew up going to Carolina Dragway. Stevie Jackson was from there as well. But Willie Dog, since I was a kid, I remember him racing. You got him, Tony Vines, a veteran. J.R. Gray came around a little bit later, but you know he kind of went to the top, and he likes to talk the trash and bet the money and race with those guys. So I tried to I won't put myself in that conversation. I probably did pretty good with no time. You're talking about no time shootouts and grudge racing. That's 2 different. We can kind of label that as 2 different things, but we're gonna say just grudge and no time as a whole. I mean, we run a lot of no time shootouts with the Bowser car. A pretty good bit of those like small block shootouts, some of the biggest ones. But just grudge races, I'm gonna start with Willie Dog. You got Tony Vines. There's a list of them. Man. It goes back to when I was a kid. There were a whole lot of them. Those are the couple that are still around though, and still trying to race every week. You know, whether small or large. So I'm gonna list those.
Ryan, who are a couple of your favorite, you know, no time grudge guys, whoever, and then once we get that laid out there, we're going to talk about what makes these guys so good because you got to be a cut above, I think, to be good at this. So who you got?
I would have to go with Willie Dog for one. I'll say Jamie Triggerman Halls.
Yeah, Triggerman.
They call everybody call him Triggerman. If nobody ever seen him, the dude is wild, like super wild. But he's starting to get in a whole bunch of cars now. He got some. I don't know if he drove a class car yet, but he probably will soon. But who else? I mean, you can't go without listing Tony Bounds on the list. Although he does a lot of shady stuff, in my opinion, which I had to throw that out there. But like the games he played in grudge racing, like a lot of the class racers will get real upset about it. But that's the integrity of grudge racing, in my opinion. Like for example, him and Jamie had a race at Carolina Dragway, and Tony played the light game. I never seen, you know, unless you step that in the rules. I think Tony did 2 or 3 burnouts. He probably purged his whole Nitrous bottle out. He staged the car, backed up, staged it again, backed up, then staged it. It was a hot mess, but that's the stuff you see in grudge racing. You know, a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't, but it's different.
Oh yeah, that a class racer would lose their damn mind. They'd be out. they'd be out of the car, throwing the helmet, flipping him the bird. That'd be a whole different level.
Yeah, I gotta go around and fix, like you said. But yeah, I hate to list stuff like that. I try to keep the list short. That's why I really just named 2 because you can go on for days. Jamie, like Ryan said, though, he's a kind of young, up and coming guy right now. He's doing a whole lot of racing this year. I think he's won like Grudge Racer of the Year awards multiple times. I try to go with the guys that were doing it for a really long time. It makes it easier, but you can name anybody. You even got Chris Tootin. He's tuned a lot of cars, driven a lot of cars in the past. Now the time you look at him more as a class racer because he's set NMCA records. He's racing the Ducks racing stuff, but he's been also involved with grudge stuff. I mean, the list is so long. I mean, I could go on for days. You got Rock still racing. He's had a big race the other day that didn't go down. He's supposed to race Marcus Burt. Marcus Burt has a grudge car now that he's racing. I mean, it's just I could go on for probably 30 minutes and name a lot of the greatest grudge races, but we won't go there. I feel like I'm gonna leave somebody out, you know.
Well, Tootin was part of that deal where he was driving Mario Johnson's car against J.R. Gray, which that was by far the most insane grudge race I've ever seen in person. Like, that was just like, I try to tell people the only way to describe it is like when two heavyweight UFC fighters are about to throw hands. That level of electricity, and that either one of those guys could throw a knockout punch at any point. I mean, just the amount of money on the line, everything that happened there, that race, to at least in my level of experience, I'm like, that to me, that's grudge racing right there. When you got guys that are just like going to go out there and absolutely try to split each other's wigs for a huge amount of money, or it can be a small amount of money, just like that mentality. I'm like, that to me, that's grudge racing.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's for sure. That was the I just walked by the cars. You see the driver strapped in. It's the wonder what's going on in their minds before they get out there. It's like this moment of silence really quick before they fire them up. And like I said, but one person gonna win, you get one chance, and that's it. You know, for a large amount of money on a big show in front of people. So that's happened a few times in grudge history. That's probably one of the bigger races out there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for people that aren't kind of touching that realm to understand. I'm like, these guys are racing for a house. Like, you could buy a house with the amount of money that's on the line. And that's, it's funny. When I talked to both of them about that, someone was like, man, ask him how much the pot is. I'm like, dude, let me tell you something. Grudge racing and high dollar bracket racing are the two groups where you don't ask how much the pot is. You don't ask what the split is. And it's doubtful that they're going to tell you the truth no matter what.
Yeah, I have another story. If you want to touch back on the grudge thing, it was like I mentioned when we ran JR Gray earlier. That's that kind of a race that made headlines. We ran it with the Nemesis car, and we're down in Bradenton, and we checked the forecast, and it looks like it's going to rain. So we're like, hey, why don't we just go ahead and race in the morning, get it over with? You know, both of us out the trailer. Let's just get it over with. We ain't got to worry about it. But JR was out to eat, and he's like texting us pictures of his breakfast. He's eating his nice breakfast, and he's like, this is test pass number 1 for me. So we go make a test pass. He's like, I'm not worried about it. You know, he's eating this nice meal at a restaurant. He rolls in there, it pours down raining like we thought it would. There's so much water in our pits. They have to bring a tractor in Bradenton and get the water out of our pits. It's like ankle high. We go out there and make a pass. We got water come out the rocker panels of the car. It's crazy. It's dark. It's late. We spin the tires twice. JR makes 2 great passes. And then it's time to go. And we literally, I roll into the pits trying to hot lap this car after trying to make a pass real quick to make sure we can get down. We're looking at each other like, what are we going to do? And we're like, well, we're not paying the funk out. We're going out there. So we ran, put a tune-up in it. We hard butt the stage lanes with with the last second to spare, make sure we get around there in time, and got it on. And it was pretty epic. It was a pretty epic race right there, just because of the circumstances and how fast it had to happen, and with the weather and everything. And we still both decided the race. We were a long way from home, and to get it over with. So that was a pretty exciting race.
Ryan, as a tuner, what's going through your mind when you've got a big race going on like that? Because, to me, a heads up small tire car is honestly almost more 60-40 towards the tuner side of things. The driver's got to do his job, but as a tuner, there's a lot going on there. What do you think when you're trying to get ready for one of these big races?
It's a lot, like a lot of pressure. With me, I'm starting to deal with it kind of well, but sometimes, man, my head just spins super bad. And like the best thing I try to do, if we going off the trailer, you just roll the dice. Like I always tell either the driver, or which would be DJ or somebody like Marquise Hat, somebody like that. I'll be like, look, I don't know if it's gonna go. Just turn the button loose and see what it does. Now, as far as like when we got test passes on our belt, and the whole thing about no time, you don't know how fast any of these cars go. You just guessing. So ain't no such thing as like, I'm a real good A to B tuner, but ain't no such thing as A to B when you grudge racing. No. So you basically try to go a personal best every time you grudge race somebody, because you don't know, you just don't know if you finna get gapped or it's gonna be a photo finish or you gonna knock the tires off. You just never know.
It's like off the trailer no prep racing, or backwards racing, or even like off the trailer street racing. Is you're putting your best scientific guess in the box and letting it eat, because there's a million and one things that could go right and wrong. And it's like you said, it's interesting to see that you can't go with that. Oh, we just need to go A to B. It's like, well, our best A to B might not even come close to that scalping that these guys just put in their box. So, let's just, you put it on the chip and let it rip, tater chip, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
That goes.
It, like I said, I've watching no prep and that off the trailer stuff always fascinated me, just because of like, seriously, a lot of those times those guys are holding on for dear life. Don't let the haters fool you, as they say. Oh, the front half of it's tight. Well, yeah, the front half might be tight, but when you get to about 250, 300 feet, that's when things get kind of sporty out there. And I think that kind of transfers to the grudge world as well, because once again, you might be running on a greenish track and you've got to have your driver be ready to go, right?
Right about that.
Now,
I think
what's I want to hear some good grudge stories, because again, I've seen some of the things that happen, just on some of the live feeds and whatnot. I don't know if it necessarily transfers nearly as much. I'm sure you guys have been to the big race in Orlando. What, No Guts, No Glory, right?
Yep.
I got a real good story on that one.
Let's talk some No Guts, No Glory story, because like I look at that race from the outside. I can't go because it's during PRI and this whole work thing. I got to go there, but I kind of want to go to that race, not to cover it. I just want to sit in the stands and watch the insanity unfold, because it looks like undescribable. So, Ryan, you say you got a good story. Let's hear your guts.
Yeah, I think we both think about the same story. I'm being interested to see what he says.
Yeah, we probably thinking about it. We actually ran JR Gray last year. We've been going to PRI also for the past, I think, since 2018 or something like that. So now we go to PRI, do the party, and then we are flying to No Guts, No Glory. So this year we ran JR Gray with a car called Wizard. They're actually Danny Cox and Marquise Hatton's owners. And that was a real crazy race. I'm tuning on like 2 or 3 other cars down there. I get a call from either DJ or Marquise, like, we need you to put a tune in the car. We're taking a break from JR Gray. Now, take in mind, we haven't even ran the car down the track. So I'm like, man, here we go again with this. It was just, rolling the dice and hoping for the best. So we get in the staging lanes. Marquise Hatton decides not to put steps. Steps on and grudge racing is major. So like a good stipulation, or a good example of a good step is track rules or no pecker extenders or stuff like that. So we get in the staging lanes and JR Gray got a pecker extender that's probably longer than me, probably 5 feet tall or something crazy like that. So I was like, Marquise, you ain't stepped that, or you ain't even think about that? He was like, man, it just swept my mind. So we literally, right before the race, it's a long video on it on my YouTube channel. We grabbed a leaf blower and a bunch of duct tape. A
body armor bottle off the end of the blower.
A body armor bottle. We stuffed it in there, duct taped it, and then
also put something else at the end of it. At the bottom, I think the like kind of take the stripe point down, just kind of point in the air. So we had something off the end of it.
Yeah. So we were struggling to get it on there, and another thing, some paint and body guy came together with us. It was like, I got it. So we put it on the car. Like 3 people held it, and it was like duct tape to the front bumper. And it's a funny looking picture, but the pecker extender somehow stayed on the whole way down the track. And we was in front of him probably up to 630 feet or something like that. And the car decided to go kabang, and he shot past us.
That's a double bad feeling. One, you lost the race. Two, you're wondering, am I going to have to go out there and pick up some rods and pistons off the track?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you guys, before the flight at No Mercy, were already well versed in the appropriate uses of duct tape.
Yeah.
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 So,
We have used it in many cases. Doors will fly off. Like, good example, last night we was testing King Kong. Had that been in a race, well, let me roll back. We was testing King Kong, go out there getting ready for a $50,000 race, November 4th and 5th or something like that. 16 car shootout, $50,000. Marquis Hatton's door decides to blow off at like the 330 mark. Had we been in the race, we would have told them, because I think we did this with DJ before. We put the driver in the car. It's probably not legal at all. Put the driver in the car, put the door on, and duct tape the door. And it's practically impossible for the driver to get out. But we have done stuff like that before.
That's perfectly fine till there's a fire. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
He'll be motivated enough to get out of the car, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You get out of there, you need to. I promise you that.
Now, DJ, what's a no guts, no glory story that you have? Maybe not necessarily something that you were directly involved in, but something you watched transpire. Because God knows you've been to enough heads up races and grudge races. You've seen some things. I've seen some things. I've seen things guys do and things go down at races where I was like, all right, that's a new one. So what's something crazy you've seen at No Guts, No Glory?
Ryan had my story crazy. Let me think of something else.
Or maybe another grudge race, crazy, insane story. You know, people driving backwards, foot racing. You know,
something did happen one time. I think somebody went like spinning in circles, or came up on two wheels or something, and still crossed the traps or won the race.
Yeah,
was that Ryan, the Iceman?
You talking about the Grudge Inc. hatchback Mustang or something like that.
It's been a couple of wild rides down there. I can't remember the details. I've seen people like literally come up on two wheels or do a donut, like, you know, and maybe still stay in their lane and across the finish line, turn on the side, go to the 8th mile in the bumper. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I'm trying to think of a really good one, but I mean, I could tell. I had a race one time some years back where I had a street car, like full cage, navigation system, whole nine. We ran somebody that was naturally aspirated from up north. So here there were two cars, never been beside each other, don't race close to each other, so we don't have no idea how each one runs. It got talked up. We lock in a race like 6 months in advance. Meet at No Guts, No Glory. Here you are, naturally aspirated, small block, on slicks. Me and my radio street car, you know, full interior full exhaust factory gas tank. Two top tier cars. They run good for what they were. And we go down through there, and it's literally like, it's inches, like probably within 6 inches. And we actually didn't cut W on that race, but that was that was like one of the biggest races of that event, just because of two totally different class cars there were. And he went out there and ran it. Go to show any two cars in a race. Went out there and ran side by side race. It was pretty wild.
Oh yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you get in, you know, that style of racing you normally don't get in a class race, unless it's Rob Goss getting beat by a streetcar, but that's another story for another time. I think he's still.
Yeah, I've actually raced a motorcycle before. I think maybe one of the few times I've seen that happen. We stipulated the race where I had to be on a hard tire, not on my radios, and I ran against a motorcycle, and I got a little bit of a head start, and the margin of victory was like point
something like that.
Yeah, the margin of victory was like 0.00 something in this grudge race. It was at Carolina Dragway, and I ran a motorcycle with my Mustang.
Is actually the guy that he owns the track now.
Yeah.
He owns Carolina Dragway.
I had to race one time at a little podunk track. I had to bracket race a four-wheeler, and I had no idea. You know, I'm just in the stage lanes, and they're randomly pulling people from lanes. And I remember I, turned to do my back up to do my burnout. And I hear this, four-wheeler fire up and kind of, he's wrapping the throttle. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on here? All right, well, this is going to be interesting. Of course, that four-wheeler a lot quicker and faster than my 305 powered Monte Carlo. So I'm like practically breaking my neck. It's hard trying to spot something that small moving that quick coming at you up the track. And
Oh yeah.
that was definitely one of those moments where, thankfully he completely broke out, but I was, that's something that takes you out of your game a little bit when you have to deal with something like that.
For sure.
Or you got the dude I've seen race down south in that like Hayabusa powered golf cart. That thing's just.
Yeah, I showed my buddies that video kind of recently. He didn't know anything about it. This thing here is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's again, I think it shows why racers shouldn't be left to their own devices, because we'll find a bunch of random parts and go, hey, this looks like it'll be fun. Will it be dangerous? Maybe. Don't care. It'll be fun.
Yes, sir. It's all about going fast.
Definitely. Well, we're going to take our last break here real quick. When we come back, we'll talk more with DJ and Ryan McCain here on the Dragzine Podcast.
Manly dual drag series valve springs provide the load capabilities of triple springs with the reduced size and mass of dual springs. This provides improved valve train control and a higher RPM potential. An additional benefit over triple springs is the reduced friction, which greatly reduces load loss, while a multi-step surface enhancement improves fatigue strength. Check them out at manlyperformance.com.
All right, we're back with DJ and Ryan McCain, having all kinds of fun telling crazy stories about insane things we've seen happen at the drag strip. No Guts, No Glory, which check that race out, folks. I'll throw a free plug in for that just because that's insane. That's like right up there, I guess, with me going to the World Cup and that level of insanity. That's like the grudge race equivalent of the World Cup. Is that fair to say?
I've never been to the World Cup. We were talking about going this year. Not sure what happened with the schedule there. I think there's a race that we're going to. It's the same date as that race, but I haven't had the opportunity to get there yet. But it's probably equivalent.
Just go there. That's one of those races. If you're an okay spectator, I know some racers aren't a good spectator. Just go to hang out to see some of the things that you're going to see there that you won't see at any other race. I mean, where else are you going to see a 200 plus mile an hour, hatchback Civic, reeling in, LS cars? It's wild. It's different. I'm looking forward to going that event. It's never a dull moment.
Yeah, I've been trying to make a point of, just me, my brother as well, just seeing different types of racing this year and spectating as well as not racing. Anytime I go to the racetrack, I've been to NHRA races and been in top few picks. Been at Antron Brown's hospitality tent, hung out with Steve Torrance and his crew, met their family. Been No Prep Kings events, Kai Kelly and Lizzie, Pat, and all those guys. Little countries out there. So I've seen a little bit of all kinds of racing this year: radio racing, slicks. Try to be versatile.
Sounds about like me. I consider myself very lucky that I get to go, usually to a couple what I'll say is like big crown jewel events. And it's cool to go to these different events just to hang out, because an NHRA race is going to have a different vibe race than a no prep or a grudge or a radial race. You never know what you're going to see. The no prep king stuff still blows me away, the amount of people that come to that. Like that's unreal.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing. A lot of people have their opinion about it, but I think it's a good thing to get any kind of fan into motorsports, just to open the door. You never know what kids you're going to influence, so just you open the door for them to go from that to wherever else, or just get people into motorsports in general, because all the stuff that's going on now with the RPM Act and all that. So getting people involved in motorsports and putting fans in the seats, I think is a good cause.
Oh, totally. It's cool to go to these different deals, and I like going to dirt track races too, because that's fun to watch those guys chase each other in circles and beating each other late models, or watching non-wing sprint guys do things with those cars that just blows me away. Again, that's I think their balls are registered weapons at this point, because they got to be pretty damn big to take those angry go-karts and do that with. Am I right?
Yes, sir. I was actually watching the video of that one of those guys was flipping one over. Flow Racing just posted one, like a top 5 things that happened this week, and I think one of those videos is somebody flipping one of those things over.
Oh yeah, they'll leave the park. They will bicycle it over the wall at the park. They'll go 3 and 4 wide. It's wild to watch. People. I really like to try to check out all areas of motorsports. Pulling tractors. The thing I really want to go check out. We're going to go off the rails here a little bit. Is off-road racing, like open desert off-road racing, because that's holy cow.
Yeah.
if you ever like at PRI, there's at least like usually one or two of those things a year. Have you ever seen those trucks?
I'm not sure if I've seen
like the trophy trucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I watch them on YouTube a lot. I think it's kind of unique.
Yeah, wide open through the desert. But you know, if you get a chance and you like happen to see one of those at PRI, go up close to it because you don't realize how big those damn things are until you're standing next to them. They're massive.
Okay, I have to make sure to check it out this year.
Now,
I actually joke around with Mark Menzer about some of the rear separation shots. I call them trophy truck shots. Like if you watch Marcus Burke car get on the track, hiked up like that. Bowser does it. A lot of my cars do it, but Marcus Burke car tops it all for the trophy truck separation.
Trophy truck separation. That's something I'm gonna have to acquisition that from you and use it because that's about the truth. Because there's a couple times I've seen that car going down the track. I'm like, he's gonna grind that splitter off that car if he's not careful.
Yeah.
So you guys done a little bit of class racing, a little bit of grudge racing, whatnot. What's been your favorite thing about doing a lot more class racing, DJ? We'll start with you. What making the transition, doing a lot more of it. What's the thing you really dig about class racing?
I like the structure of it. Somebody's calling my other phone. I like the structure of the class racing. I like the people I've met there, man. They're a great group of guys. Lighting the boards up, it's a different type of fan. It's just a different type of excitement, the class races, and just I don't know. I'm having time at a racetrack, but this weekend I was just that's a memory I'll never forget. Just this past weekend, so that's gonna always be probably one of my favorite races, I guess.
Ryan, what are you digging about making some more hits in the class racing world?
I'd be just say the structure part of it is what I like. How organized everything is. DJ would be the first to tell you. I never really was big on the whole grudge thing because it takes hours and hours and hours to get a race off. I'm like super impatient, and that's why I always like the no time shootouts. If they tell you 3 or 4 o'clock when we're running first round, that's what I like. And with class racing, you got a whole schedule. It might be put out a month or 2 in advance. Like Duck schedule was put out 3 months in advance. Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, we qualifying. So that's the thing I like about it. Then I can go out there and I like to call it setting the tone. Because I ran track in college, and it was kind of the same way with qualifying and heats. So if you go out there, you run a super fast time, and you was like the first heat out, and you got 20 heats behind you, it makes everybody else either do some crazy. It makes everybody else do some crazy stuff, or everybody else runs fast. So like now in class racing, we can go out. I like to be one of the first 4 cars down the track and go out, set the tone, either get number 1, number 2, number 3, and then I feel like it puts pressure on everybody else. And then I also like the actual ladder of the whole class racing thing, like running 1 through 16 or 1 through 8 or 1 through 32. Because in no time, it was always draw out the hat, and you might have had to run the fastest car, the first round. And class racing, I ain't saying you get to run the slowest car, but you get to run the guy that didn't qualify.
Yeah, chip draws definitely make things really, really interesting. And what I find entertaining next year is that the NHRA is doing those 2 big races for Top Fuel and Funny Car, and guess what they're doing? They're doing chip draws and call outs.
I have a pretty good story about that. Me and one of my buddies, got ready. We were running pretty good, and we were running the small block no time deal, and we probably were two of the quicker cars in this event. We ran probably 12 times in a year. You know, we go back and forth. A lot of times we meet in the finals. So we get to a race and they had a miscount. I think they thought it was 21. It really was 20 cars. Put the wrong amount of chips in the hat. Me and Scotty draw each other. Realized there was a miscount. Everybody puts chips back in the hat. We redraw, and me and Scotty draw each other again. The race first round.
Yeah.
Go buy a lottery ticket at that point.
It was like destiny.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes, to me, that's what makes part of that side of drag racing interesting again, is because you could have what would be a final round matchup in the first round. It adds a whole different, like, it takes a lot of the strategy that you use in class racing and, you know, maybe playing the ladder a little bit, and it throws it out the board. But again, I'm with you, Ryan. I'm a creature of structure and habit, and like not having that in a race, just like that makes my OCD makes my skin crawl. You know, I'm not saying we got to be down to the minute, but it's nice to know what's supposed to be going on and when. You know, it's just makes the day. It makes it easier probably for you as a tuner and a driver to kind of plan what you're going to do, right?
Yeah, you know what time, pretty much a roundabout. If something happens on the track, you know about what time you're gonna be racing in the day. You know what order you're gonna be running in and all that. So you just get prepared. But I like to try to be prepared as best I can.
And that's another thing that I like about class racing that I didn't like about the no time thing. When you had a chip draw inside, you know, with Willie Dog or somebody like that, usually, well, most of them, they would, if you didn't have a test pass, they would call you up. Your car is ready. You had to come off the chiller. If you ran one, your baller's got to be in the car. So all the cars in staging, and then you did a chip draw. Well, you might have the fastest man. So the thing I always had to do, and I don't know, some people might got some pictures of me doing it. I would always have my laptop out almost to the burnout box and no time racing. Now I can do it. You know, I know who I'm running. I know what I plan on doing. I can leave my laptop, take some pressure off, leave my laptop at the trailer.
Yeah.
So
don't have to think about it nearly as much.
Yep.
Well, guys, I always like to have some fun with my guests at the end, and we've done time machines, we've done unlimited bank accounts, all kinds of stuff, different kind of questions. So this time, I'm gonna have some fun, some grudge related racing questions. I'll start with you, DJ. You can pick any single guy to drive your grudge car, and then pick what car you're going to put him in, and you're racing for $500,000. Who are you picking to drive the car, and what car are you picking for them to drive? Could be anything in throughout grudge racing history. Could be, you know, the Stevie's old car, orange car, you know, something else, you know, most feared grudge car ever. What, you know, who you picking? What are you running?
Who am I picking? If I don't have to exclude myself, I'm gonna go with myself. I trust me in the driver's seat. And what car am I picking? Are we talking an unlimited deal? The fastest grudge cars. What car would I pick for $500,000? So there's no rules on this. We just racing.
You're racing someone of equal, you know, big tire to big tire, small tire to small tire. You know, whatever it is, they're going to line up with something similar against you.
They're gonna line up with something similar against me.
They'll sit the same. Let's put it that way.
They'll sit the same. I'm gonna pick me in the driver's seat, and the car I ain't too worried about just because if they sit like me, as long as I got Ryan tuning, I feel like we're gonna have a pretty fair chance. But I feel like I gotta get in the car. If I had to pick a car, I'll just say the OG Shadow or something like that. If it's a big tire car, if it's a small tire car, I'm gonna go with my old girl Bowser, or boy, whatever you want to call him.
Hey, you know what? Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. That's why I put these questions out there to make them fun, because you never know what I'm going to throw at you. Ryan, what are you doing? Or do you want to do something where you're tuning a car, or do you want to be driving? What are you doing?
We can do We can do the tuning one.
So who you tuning for, and what are you tuning?
In a bit, $500,000 grudge race.
Yeah, $500,000 cash sitting right there.
I would probably say, because I know the car at the back of my ear, it's gonna sound funny. I gotta go with Bowser. And again, I gotta go with DJ dropping it. Just based it off the amount of reps that we got in that car and the amount of reps that he got, just trapping it. So,
hey, you know what? That 110% makes sense. When a lot of people don't understand, I think when you run a heads up car, when you put enough laps on it, the driver well, it changes your confidence level. I think it really, really does. That, what that car is going to do before it's going to do it. That, to me, makes a huge difference, especially in a grudge race, right?
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
Well, gentlemen, our time here is coming to an end. And as always, I like to give my guests their opportunity to channel their inner John Force and thank all their sponsors and tell people where to find them at. So I guess, DJ, we'll start with you, and you can thank who you need to thank and let people know where they can find more information about your guys' operation. And then Ryan can clean up and catch anything you miss.
Yeah, those are always tough questions. You don't want to miss anything, but let's try to focus in on this weekend. I found to repeat this a lot this week, but I feel like it's very important. Getting a little political here, but RPM Act. Everybody go do your part of the RPM Act. Save motorsports. I feel like this weekend showed me, and I already believed it, but even more so how great the car community is, why we love this sport. Do your part with the RPM Act. Save our race cars. I want to thank everybody that was at the track this weekend and helped us fix this car. People that helped me, people that tried to help, offered to help, lended a helping hand, lended a helping part. Anything, I really appreciate it. With all of you guys, I want to thank my team for backing me and support me when I asked if we try to fix the car, because there's a lot of doom and gloom with them picks, and I came back with that car on that road back. So for everybody to ride together and try to help me, somebody keeps calling my phone, I'm sorry. Everybody ride together to try to help us fix the car and bolt it together, beating on it, hammering, duct tape, whatever it was, helping me get parts. I appreciate all of them. And that's the end of my rant.
Yeah, you guys legit had like 12 or 13 people working on that car when I came back to interview that one time. I told our camera guy, I'm like, let's come back later. There's a lot going on here right now. A lot of beating, a lot of banging, a lot of pointing, a lot of thinking.
Welding and all. Everything going.
Yeah. So Ryan, who you got? Who you need to thank? What do you want to put out there for everybody?
I'll start with that event. Like DJ said, I gotta go with Skinny Man for welding up the rack. D with the Devil Horse crew for giving us front rim, back rim tires. Manny Bojinga, that's actually like the first time I think we all talked to the guy. I'll probably say Kenny Hubbard for doing all the cooking. My pop for setting the initiation and motion. We was all kind of down. I said we was done. My mom, she act like it didn't. I mean, she was a little down about the whole situation, but she was like, you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with that car. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, ain't nothing really wrong with it. So I said, you know what? Ain't nothing but some parts. So we just gonna fix it. So so mom, dad, Rodney Mascale, Neil Chance converters for all their help, certain stuff, Cone, Cameron, torque converters, Devin, Ryan, Holly. I can name a million people. Danny Cox, Nitrous Express, Ryan Lewis at Nitrous Express, Danny Cox, Marquise Hatton, Eric Tony Hatton, Rodney, Eric Laos, Who else?
Jason and I are for backing us out.
Yeah, I think I said Jason Hickler. Yeah. If many people don't know, Jason and Ira Mack, Jason Hickler and Ira Mack Jason owns Nemesis, Ira Mack owns Black Car. They like two brothers. You know, they pretty much just sell us free on those cars. And then, you know, Nick at BTR, Brian Tooley Steel for hanging in there. The Energy guys, Heath, Ben Mans, Brooke, Callis. I mean, it's a million people. I can go on and on and on.
Awesome. And of course, I've got to thank my sponsors for the show: Performance Distributors, Airflow Research, ProCharger, Holley, MSD, Flowmaster, Moser Engineering, Comp Cams, Eldebrock, Fuel Air Spark Technology, Manley, JE Pistons, and Dart all make it possible for me to have fun with people like you guys. It was awesome having you on for the show. Catch up with you at PRI. Maybe I'll try to play hooky and last day at PRI and join you down there at No Guts, No Glory.
Yeah, and I left out one.
NRC Motorsports. Don't forget about that. Those guys are always helping us.
Well, yeah, he touched up on that. Yeah, NRC, David Reese Brothers Race Cars, and Mike Panella for always looking out for all my Diamond, Trend, and MGP parts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you need the car fixed, just take it to David Reese. He'll have it done in like 2 days. Maybe three if he takes a break.
And if we left somebody off, please don't be offended. I usually have a list I can look at and make sure. You try to go down that list, usually a lot of times you'll forget a couple people, you know what I'm saying? So it's never on purpose, but it's just a lot to remember. Try to go down that list and you know how it is.
The little cheat that I've learned from a few of the racers that won't be named is they just tell people to go to their website or go to their Facebook page where they've got posts where they've got all the sponsors listed. I'm like, that's why you're a professional.
You want to find us? Instagram is McCain Racing or McCain_Racing, I believe. YouTube.com/McCain Racing. We have a website. We sell used parts and merch. McCainRacing.com. Facebook.com/McCain Racing. You can find it. Google it.
Yep. Awesome. Well, guys, thanks once again for coming on the show, and we'll talk soon.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Appreciate it.